Why am I a Kentucky public defender? Really good one.
I'm a public defender because I really can't imagine doing anything else. Once you've done this for a few years, nothing else is nearly as important.
Poor people have a barrier in the criminal justice system, and they're kind of limited by the justice that they can afford. So when I decided to become a lawyer, it was kind of a no-brainer for me.
A lot of people talk about different problems and different issues, but then don't necessarily take action. And as a public defender, I do get to be right on the front line and address issues I care about.
We are working to help people that no one else can help, to keep them out of situations that are worse than bankruptcy, worse than divorce, worse than anything else that they're likely to face in their lives.
Every human being has worth and value, and in spite of terrible things that they have done, they deserve to have someone standing next to them.
I see how the system treats people who are different and people who are poor, people of color, and I just can't stand it. And so I am a public defender to fight the system.
Just felt a calling to fight against the bullies, and what better place to do that than as a public defender in a courtroom.
You get to represent people that I feel like society has largely just forgotten or pushed to the side, and you get to help people make their way through the system who may not have a chance otherwise.
And to do a great job, to cross every T, dot every I, and at the end of the day, the victories are sweet, and if I know I've done the best, I'm okay when things don't go as well.
I spent 17 years with juvenile justice, so I saw the end of the process, and I wanted to become involved in the very beginning, in the start.
I believe that there is a systemic problem that needs to be addressed, and I believe that public defenders are the only way that we can get people the resources that they need so desperately to get out of the system.
I grew up in Kentucky. I was born and raised here, and especially where I'm at in the eastern part of the state, we have a lot of poverty. Lots of folks living in very difficult circumstances.
Well, I grew up in a very impoverished and rural part of eastern Kentucky, so everyone I knew was poor.
This is where I grew up. You know, I'm a Kentucky girl. I grew up in Georgetown. I originally started out as an intern at the Georgetown Trial Office, so giving back to local communities where I grew up, where I see the most impact is why I'm proud to specifically be a public defender in Kentucky.
Kentucky is one of the poorest states in our nation, and our clients, not only can they not afford a lawyer, most of them can't afford, just basic needs that we all have.
Nothing would aggravate me more than seeing a prosecutor say, oh, they could just pay a fine or they could do this, when I knew that it was the difference between housing or medicine or their kids eating. And so I have a real commitment to trying to better people's life through how they are treated in court.
It feels really good to be on the side of the people who need most help. It feels really good to be the person who gets to punch up in the system and try to make things more fair.
We go to trial quite a bit, and we average about 20 trials a year. And that client-centered representation and advocacy and refusal to just shut up and take it and plead guilty, that doesn't happen without an entire unit gelling together and being there for one another to make it work.
Having met people from different offices, the passion is the same. And that's a difficult thing to do for such a large organization, to actually get people who care and not just come for a paycheck. And you get excited about your clients, you get excited about doing the work that you do. It's a systemic gem that a lot of organizations may not necessarily have, so that's why I'm proud.